All right, story time. So I just returned back in town after raving at the Carolina Open Air Festival. So that's why I have these accessories in my dreadlocks. I went to Black Box Theater in North Carolina, and it was a good time. So I had to get back in town before 3 p.m. this afternoon in order to go to the UPS store because they're open from 10 in the morning to 3 p.m. On Sundays. And so $21 later, I walked out with a banner that you will see me holding in this thumbnail of this video. And that brings us to the topic of this video. Everyone wants status. However, how to acquire status is the main question and really the topic of this video. And then we'll hopefully make other videos of different ways to acquire status because there's not one set path. So let's go back to Google's definition of status. Google defines status as the relative social, professional, or other standing of someone or something. Now, we know what we are aiming for because we've defined it. Now, if you were to ask the average person on the street how to acquire status, they would probably mention something of like driving a luxury vehicle or being able to wear a designer handbag. However, I'm here to argue that those things are merely indicators of status. There's a nuance in the word indicators. Status symbols don't necessarily mean that a man or a woman has high status. It merely means that he or she can afford liabilities. Now, the path to status is much deeper than that. And let's break down the meaning of status. Now, there are two key words that jump out when we talk about status: relative and position. In order for something to be relative, something else must exist. In the example of status, there must be at least two people relative to each other before we can determine position. Humans are social creatures, and status cannot exist in a vacuum. So, a woman might wear a Chanel bag as a status symbol. However, status is about the person, not the bag itself. A man can drive a luxury vehicle. However, that same vehicle could be a company vehicle. He could be a supervisor or a salesperson within an organization. Now, let's go a step further and say that status is about a person's effect on others. Your status as a person is defined by the impact that you have on other people. The bigger the impact you have on other people, the higher your relative position is to others. So let's go back to the Chanel bag example. While the bag may indicate that the person wearing the bag may be important, their relative importance is questionable because the bag itself doesn't directly impact another person's life. Now, if the person wearing the bag used their money to, let's say, build a school or build a hospital, then we can say that person is high status. The bag is an indication that they can afford luxury items. May not necessarily be the case because the bag could be a gift from a sponsor. But more importantly, the school or hospital that was built can be used to train the next generation of workers, or it can be used in order to help alleviate the pains of the populace. And I'm here to argue that you don't have to have a lot of money in order to have a lot of status. Status is relative and not objective. So it's not indicated by a specific dollar amount, but how you use whatever dollars you get in order to play the social game. Now, let's bring things down to a micro level. One of my former bosses is a member of the Greenville Roller Derby team. And for those of you who may not be familiar with women's roller derby, it's basically like women's rugby, but with skates, helmets, and mouthpieces. So they roll around. I guess they try to score and they beat each other up. They have home and away games, and according to their Facebook, they are looking for both single game and entire season sponsors. The thing you will come to know or come to learn when it comes to like the game of power is that there is always someone out there in the world that's always going to need help. So there's always opportunities for power if that's what you're looking for. So there's always a cause that you can involve yourself in. There's always a mission. There's always a purpose. It is up to you, the viewer, to define what's important to you. Moving forward, sponsorships work by you paying a fee, and in return, the team allows you to hang your banner at one of their games, one of their home games. And now, why is it important for me to have a large banner hanging at a roller derby game? Well, let's break down the reasons why I'd pay money to have my banner hanging at one of their games or the entire season. One, my name is a brand. For better or for worse, with my name being a brand, I want my name to be spread far and wide. Also, as my name is being spread far and wide, I want my name to be associated with good work, and the only person who can do that for me is me. Now, being a so number two, let's move forward. So number two, being a sponsor shows that I have enough abundance or enough willingness to sacrifice for the benefit of others. The $30 or the $300 that I spent of my own money can pay for food, it can pay for uniforms, or for whatever else this team decides to pay for. My contribution directly affects other people. My contribution doesn't necessarily have to be much. It just has to be more than the next man, because status is relative, not objective. And lastly, why do you think that I'm choosing to sponsor one of my former bosses' uh, roller derby team? And the answer is quite simple. Basically, she's going to tell her friends and teammates. She can brag to other girls that I'm a good looking man of importance. She has had the absolute privilege and pleasure to work for me or have me work under her. However you want to frame it, it really does not matter. And so not only am I doing well for myself as far as she's concerned, is I also have an impact on others. So now, what do you think that will do to her friends? So that's pretty much one of the last questions, and then that is how the game of status is played. And on this channel, we love status, we love power, we love money, we love leadership. We are honest with ourselves about what it is that we truly want. We are strategic and purposeful in everything that we do. And keep in mind, we or you, we get one and then we get many. So one thing leads to many other things. I will keep you all updated as we move along. The machine marches forward, and until next time.